Hey guys, for today's video, we're going to go over lifting dark hair. So grab a notebook and be prepared. Y'all know how I like to go off on a ramble every now and then. And today we definitely ramble on about lifting dark hair. Lots of good tips in there. So I hope you enjoy this video. You guys can find me on Instagram at Christy at the Cottage. All right, here's my client's before. It's clearly been at least 6 months or so to a year since the last time she's had her hair done. We're going to do her lightening with Schwarzkopf Blonde Me and 20 volume. And I've honestly been a little bit into the foil already. I kind of want to give you guys a different video, one that's not so long. So I'm kind of eliminating a lot of the application because there's been a few people that have said they don't have time to watch a super long video. So I'm just going to kind of cut this stuff out. So I'm going to show you guys her money piece. So we're going to do some really fine weaves and back comb them. And we're not really doing much of a subsection at this point. We just want to keep her nice and bright, but still blend in with her hair. So the only hair that we're going to leave is the hair that we're even weaving out at this point. And that's going to help blend into her money piece just to give it some softer dimension. Because she wants to be nice and bright all over. Like, her goal was to be really heavily blonde all over, but because she had a $300 limit for her budget, I told her that we're gonna have to leave out some subsections in her hair and maybe not go quite as bright all over as what she originally wants. So because she does want to be a little bit brighter, for this next foil right here, we're just going to do a slice and back comb it. And so this is going to give her that really bright pop of brightness that she wants. Those first few foils were some really soft weaves, which is going to help blend into her natural right on her hairline. It's going to kind of soften the grow out. But this next foil, being this super bright slice, is going to give her that extra brightness that she wants. So we're just going to make sure that I'm matching on the other side. You'll see me go through and count the money piece foils on the opposite side just to make sure that we have balance and evenness. So I did her hairline foils around her temples just the same as I do any of my other foils from any of my other videos that you watch. So I figured I just cut that section off. So if you haven't watched my videos before, I just do really fine baby light weaves vertically directly on the hairline. And that really helps to blend the highlights. And you'll see when I'm blow drying her hair, how nice and soft it blends in with her natural. She doesn't have any lines or streakiness or anything. It just looks really nice and soft. So you'll see as I go up the side of her head, this is exactly how I did my foils all over in the back. So everything that you're seeing here is everything that I did in the back half of her head. And luckily, she's already blonde through the ends. So I'm not running lightener through the ends right now. However, at some point, I will go through it and comb it through the ends. Probably just when we go to wash her out and pull the foils out, I'll pull the foils through the ends of the hair just to re-brighten it up. I feel like for how much I'm cutting out of this video for the service just to keep the time down, I feel like it's really important to touch base on lightening darker hair. I feel like a lot of people have a hard time. A lot of clients come to me saying that they're not ever able to achieve the bright blonde that they want in their hair, or they always leave with it being orange or brassy or whatever. A lot of the problems that people have when they lift dark hair is the size of the section that they're taking. Her application took forever for me to do. It literally her whole service took 7 hours. This was a huge undertaking and honestly not anything that I anticipated. I asked her at the beginning and I said, this is going to be huge service. So what is your budget? She said $300. And I just wasn't even being realistic when I agreed to that, because this should have been a $500-$600 service for how long that it took and how much bleach and all of that stuff, whatever. Anyways, that being said, when you're lifting really dark hair, you have to do really thin sections. If you do too thick of a section, you honestly, for every section that you do, you should be able to see through the hair. And you're going to see some of these sections that I'm taking, you're going to be able to see through the foil to like how paper thin the sections are that I'm doing. And that is going to give you the best lift. She processed for probably 2 hours. It can take time, but if you let it sit, if you don't rush it, if you feel like she gets stuck at a level 8, then go back there and mix some 30 just really quickly and just pop it on just in the areas where it's a level 8 and push her past that level right there. Push her past the brassiness. I only use 20 volume when I'm foiling. I will never use 30 or 40. Again, the only time that I use 30 is if somebody is stuck, like if they've been lifting for like an hour and they're stuck at a brassy 8, I will just mix a really quick bowl of 30 volume, just brush it on that brassy area and let it sit for like 20 minutes and they'll be done. So a lot of times when clients come into me and they're like, why are you reapplying bleach on my hair? Well, if you're coming in with a level 2 and you want to be a level 10, you have to give it time to process and you have to reapply sometimes to push it past that like caramel 8. So if you're not getting your clients light enough, chances are your sections are probably too thick, and maybe you're not letting it set long enough, or maybe you're not reapplying your bleach, refreshing your bleach up often enough. Probably every maybe 30 minutes, I'm getting a new bowl of bleach. And for her application, I probably went through like 10 fresh bowls of bleach. I don't ever mix like one just huge ass bowl of bleach for the whole like service, because can you imagine that lifting power is dead? Like if you can see right here how thin her section is, that is about what I've done for her whole head, and that is going to get you the best lift. So I've seen people do it where they will mix this huge bowl of bleach for like a 2-hour application. Bleach has lifting power for about an hour roughly. So if you put that bleach that has been sitting for an hour on hair, it's not going to lift them very far. You have to constantly get a fresh bowl of bleach, especially when you're dealing with really dark hair, to make sure that you can get them as light as you want. But you have to be realistic. If somebody comes in and they say, I want a full foil, I want to be like a platinum blonde or a really pretty blonde, but I only want to spend, $150, like this is not the service for you then. Or maybe we need to compromise and just do like a partial foil, because the amount of foils that you're going to have to pack in there for somebody that has really dark hair, and if it's maybe a little bit more coarse too, the thinner the section, the better, and that's the best lift that you're going to get them. So just make sure that you're taking, sorry, I'm like repeating myself constantly, but it's because people don't really know this. But yes, make sure that you're taking very thin sections, using just 20 volume, and reapplying or refreshing up your bleach quite often. Again, charge for your service. Charge for the amount of product that you're using. This should have been probably an extra $200 in just product, but because I had already like agreed to the price quote of $300, like that was my bad, but I had to honor what I had quoted her. But this probably should have been an extra $200 in product costs. So I just want to leave that there. If you guys have a hard time lifting your clients, the clients that have really dark hair, try doing much thinner sections and refreshing your bleach up more often, and I can guarantee you that you will be seeing like much better lift. And also, do not rush the bleach. Like, don't put it under the dryer or anything where you might create damage. But like I said, she had a process for 2 hours until she was ready to be done lifting. Oh, another big thing for lifting dark hair, make sure you're applying super thick bleach and heavy saturation. Look at these foils that I'm doing. This is thick like toothpaste. So make sure that you're putting a really thick, heavy amount of bleach for every foil. That saturation is going to get you also the best lift. All right, so we're just gonna finish applying just over where she parts her hair onto the side. I always like making sure that I'm working my way up over the side of the head and going just beyond where they part their hair to make sure that I have everything like in that detail that I'm wanting, because sometimes you forget how far over you went on the other side and then you can't really remember, did you leave off on like a streak or like a subsection or a weave or a baby light or whatever. So I always like to make sure that I work my way completely over beyond where they part their hair, just so I know exactly how that is going to look where they part their hair at. I apologize if I just like overwhelmed you guys with a whole bunch of like lifting and application or whatever saturation, but I feel like it's important to go over this stuff. I feel like a lot of stylists don't really understand lifting dark hair, and I worked in a Spanish salon for a few years. I was like the only white girl there, but I felt like it was such valuable knowledge to gain, and I really appreciate the time that I spent there to really understand working with maybe hair that's a little bit more coarse and darker. So I just feel like that needs to be passed on. So this is everything that we did for the full service. So sorry that I did not end up showing you the full application, but sometimes people complain that the videos are too long. So I just thought I'd cut out like a majority of it, of the application, because apparently some people get bored and I don't want to upset you guys. So I just figured I would leave in the important parts, I guess, like maybe people don't care about the full application. So she ended up processing for probably 2 hours. Literally, I kept checking. It was taking forever. I had to just blast her with some heat, reapply a few times just to get past those like level 8s. And finally, we were able to rinse. So we're going to pull these foils out. Obviously, that transition area, you can see there's a little bit of warmth in there. But we're going to go through and apply root shadow if we need to, and tone everything down and make sure that it blends really nicely. And here you can see how much warmth she has in her hair in the top area, but you guys are going to be amazed after you see the toner that we use. This is why I like Schwarzkopf so much. It completely like eliminated that warmth. So I use half and half, and I'm going to get into the breakdown of the toner formulation in just a minute. But look at that. It's totally canceling out all that warmth. What was I thinking? This is not a $300 color. It's more like a $500 color. My bad, miscalculated. Anyways, I still have to charge her $300 because I have to, that's what I agreed to, whatever. Anyway, so the amount of color that I'm using, it's insane. So probably equal to like 10 scoops of bleach, 2 full bottles of our first round of toner for the lightest blonde. I'm using half and half 9-1 and 951 for like a super cool icy blonde. And I just took like 20 minutes to apply that. Her hair is just so thick. She does have some level like 8, some warmer tones in there. So we'll see how that tones down. I'm also going to go through and mix like a 7-1. Maybe like half, maybe like a quarter 7 and 3/4 7-1 for like a root shadow, just to tone it down and soften it a little bit more. And I was thinking originally like a darker root shadow, more like at a level 5, but I ain't doing that because I'm already over budget. So and I think because we back combed her hair and everything, like I think it should still blend pretty good. So I don't think we need that level 5 root shade in there. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm using for her root shadow that we are doing. And if you want more information on this application, then just watch the very end of the video and I'll go over how I applied this part of the service. And now we're gonna blow dry her hair, and you can see there where she's nice and bright around the face. She's gonna be a little bit brighter, especially in the money piece and on the hairline, because we didn't run the root shadow through that area, just to keep her a little bit brighter there. But I like to be able to show you guys what the hair looks like when it's a little bit straighter, so you guys can see exactly how the color looks. And you know, a lot of people will say you're just trying to curl the hair. to cover up any mess ups that you made. That's not true. I just think curls look so pretty. So I always like to show you guys how it looks when it's a little bit more straight. And the color is actually much brighter and much like wider. It's just really hard to tell because the lighting that we have in the salon it's a very gold, very warm light. So the hair doesn't look as bright and cool as it actually is. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of this in of styling my client's hair. I always go, I straighten through the ends and then I just curl like 2, depending on how long the hair is, maybe 3 times around, leaving the ends out. And I curl all the way to the back center on either side. And that will help create like a really nice soft wave. Let it cool down and then we comb it out. And then that gives it just like a really nice soft body wave. And in some of these areas, you can see right around the hairline where we did her blonde just a little bit heavier to keep her a little bit more bright around the face area. She just had so much hair. I wanted to make sure I left the brightness where it counts. So here's her before again. Luckily, her ends were already pretty light. And then here's the after. So it still blends really nicely with her natural hair. We left the crown pretty simple back there. Wanted to not do it too heavy. She still wanted to have like a nice rooty look, so we definitely kept it a lot brighter towards the front and kept her a little bit darker and more rooty towards the back area. And then here's the after again. The lighting is so warm, so it just looks so much more golden, but it was really, really like such a icy, like level 10 blonde. It actually looked really, really pretty. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys like this blend. I think it turned out so pretty. Lots of dimension, but still she's much brighter, but still maintain like a lot of her natural dimension and everything. So thank you for watching. Okay, I just got done with my client and just a little rough breakdown of the service really quickly. So when I toned her hair, I toned the lightest color, level 9 all over. And then when I toned her root shadow, I sectioned and first just like tapped the roots with it all the way up. I did not at all do around her hairline to make sure that that stayed nice and bright. And then it took me about 10 minutes to probably tap her roots all over. And then once I was done tapping her roots, I grabbed a comb and just started like combing through the ends. I wasn't able to really say, but I used the Igor Vibrance over the Paul Mitchell because I feel like the Paul Mitchell, it's really pretty for like super light blondes. If there's not a lot of warmth in the hair, but I just feel like it doesn't do like the best job of canceling out a lot of warmth or brassiness. Like if you're lifting somebody that has naturally really dark hair, I do not at all feel like Paul Mitchell, the Demi, does a good job with like level 7, 8, like canceling out brassiness. So I was actually really pleased with the level 9 on the Igor Vibrance that we used, the 9-1. I didn't think it was going to tone out that really brassy, almost level 8 that we had, and it did. So I feel like that says a lot about the Schwarzkopf Igor Vibrance because it covers the hair nicely, and then it really eliminates any warmth in the hair. So for how brassy a few of those little spots were, I feel like it did a really good job of eliminating it. So we started the service at 12. It's just past 7 o'clock right now. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 hours, Christy. So I'm a dumbass. But anyways, it's been a long day, okay? That color took me 7 hours, and I probably should have charged her like honestly over $500 for that color at least. But because we like talked about the price quote and like the budget and all that beforehand, and her budget was $300, that's just what I charged her. So I could have taken much larger subsections, but I didn't. So anyways, so there's that. So I hope you guys like the video, and thank you so much for watching. And to make up for the money that I didn't make on this service, don't forget to please like and subscribe. Thank you.